Hello, my name is Mariela Sanchez, and this is my presentation on what does it mean to be a 21st century citizen. From the week's reading and video, something big that we take away is that the world is changing um, in so many ways. That students, teaching, the world is impacted with all these changes, and breaking it down into like the skills that are gonna help with those changes and make us the citizens that we are in the 21st century is really looking at the foundational skills of like starting with our core subjects like math, reading, writing, science, history, like mentioned in the article of the framework of the 21st century learning, is that we learn these skills in school, these subjects that in a way transition to the social skills that Dr. Laura mentions in her video of like the soft skills, like the self-awareness, the way we communicate with others, and we do teamwork and problem solve individually or with others. But all these different skills and subjects, they lead into how we're going to deal with real life situations, and even like with work or in our families or as individuals. Um, and also, it leads to the understanding of the why. One of my big takeaways from the video from Dr. Laura was that, children nowadays, the first thing that comes out is like, why? Why do I have to do this? Why am I going to use this? How am I going to use this? And it's really understanding the why of why we need to learn certain things in order to execute um, and be successful. It's going to continue to be a learning process with whys, but really understanding the way we're going to do things and apply them and how that's going to help us think. And throughout the process, there is going to be failing and succeeding, but it's really building, getting those skills, gaining that knowledge, and using them. With ethics, one of the things that I took from the articles was in the article of Josh, the core human skills. It gives you 12 different skills, but from the information of assessments of how to find and how the process is going to work, it takes you all the way to the skills acquaintance of how you learned it and how you're going to apply it, which talks about how being positive and being open-minded and being willing to take that risk, but also being flexible on taking different avenues to find that success that you want within yourself, and that we want our students also to find. I think it's really big. The attitudes. In the video of Helen, when she talks about the seven skills, one of the things that I really took out, and I totally can make a connection of how the 21st century citizens we think and we do things, is the willing to be driven and determined, being determined on the process and where we want to go, the thinking outside of the box. um, they mentioned on how in a classroom now we work as a team, we work in groups, we're not just facing the board and the professor is talking, is actually bringing different point of views and working together on how that is going to make us successful on sharing and not being afraid of sharing, and accepting what others have to say as well. So, what does it mean to be a 21st century citizen? Is being able to learn, adapt, and continue the process, and not giving up and not failing, being able to work with others and thinking outside the box and collaborating and communicating with those around us to make sure that we're successful, not just ourselves, but as a community.